I am Dominion. Who are you?
I am here. That's who I am.
Well, you're here this week. You're here this week. Okay, got it. Just checking. Just checking. Because last week you were supposed to be here, and so here I am. Going into mama mode. It was like, okay, baby. You text the girls at 7:50 is like, okay, you ready for the show? Because Epic was not feeling well. This is it's not a HIPAA violation. I ain't gonna get into everybody's business. But Epic wasn't feeling well. So I was like, okay, girl, everything fine, it's cool. It's all right. So I'll see you at 8 o'clock. And I ain't see nobody. And then so I was like, 8:02. I'm like texting him. It was like, okay, girl, you okay, girl? You ready to start the show? And then so I messaged him on Facebook. It was like, okay, girl, you all right? And then like 5 minutes after 8, then I'm like, okay, girl. So I'm just gonna assume that you asleep and not wrapped around an axle somewhere. But when you wake up, just let me know that you okay, because that's ultimately my chief concern. But when you wake up, I am going to read you.
So first, let me say thank you so much, because that was the gist of the messages and the missed phone calls from you.
Yeah, there were like 4 missed phone calls because I was like,
yes,
she showed up late. Yes, you've shown up late. You've shown up late, but you've never not shown up. You've been a professional. So I was concerned about you. So like I called like 4 times.
Yes, you did.
I did.
But so listen, for all of you all out in BGKH land, listen, let me first apologize to you all because the show didn't happen last week. Now, it is my fault. I will take the L for that because I am a little grown. And that's what you do when you're grown and you try to be responsible. You take the L for it, because it was my fault. It had absolutely nothing to do with Dominion. House and ever, I do appreciate him being concerned, which is what I got from him. Because literally, when I laid my head down to take a nap at around 5:30, when I say I fell into the deepest of sleeps, like that kind of sleeping hard that you think when you wake up like, oh my God, I missed it. Like it's tomorrow morning. And oh my God.
Exactly. Links. I mean, this could become the BGKH show with Dominion and Links. They have replaced Becky's. They have replaced Darren's. I mean, there is a precedent.
Listen,
for a top running show to replace, the co-star.
I got just as many years in the game on this show as you do. Now, but you got more skin in the game because you had a couple other shows, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't take that away from you. But not near one of these people in these comments up here, especially not Mr. Links, is gonna come up here and try to take my place. Is that what we're doing? Is that how we doing it, Links? That's what we're doing this weekend? That's what we're doing. Okay, all right. Okay, so listen.
No, wait a minute.
Okay, Links, this is where we are. You are on my list.
Life is ready to tell.
Epic is giving you, what about what I need?
He's feeling more very Elton John-ish right now. You need to get into
what's best for me? What about how I feel? What about me? What about me? It's more than you. It is more than me. No matter what we are a family. Heavy, heavy. You want some heavy, baby? Okay, all right. That's enough of that.
So, but listen,
And yes, those glasses are everything. Those glasses are cute.
listen. This is called the family discount. It was. I'm not sure if I really like these, and then they were sent to me, and I said, "Bitch, I'm here for it." So
Right.
I just happened to look over and I remembered they were there. So I figured I'd get some usage out of them. But I'm
Right.
gonna take these glasses off in a minute because I'm getting all this glare from a little camera light. But
Right.
anyway, hey, so I really do want to say thank you all, and I want to apologize to you all. But this I will own up to. It was my fault, and I literally just knocked myself out into one of those sleeps that I thought when I woke up it was like I didn't think I was sleeping that long. I didn't know what was going on. My phone's it stays on mute, and so while I saw his calls, I was concerned. But for the record, when I woke up and saw those messages, I immediately called Dominion and I said, "Hey, give me 2 minutes to just change my shirt." He was like, "We're too far in." I was like, "Okay," because bitch, I was still gonna show up. I was gonna be late, but I was still gonna show up. But I will take the L, and I will allow all the comments from everybody this entire show. You have a whole show to do whatever comments you want to do. Go ahead. Links. I'm gonna go ahead and let that one pass. I mean, you on my list though, but I'm gonna let that pass. But I do want to apologize, and I do want you guys to know that I am deeply sorry, and I
You're
regret.
late. You're late and you're rude.
I'm gonna go ahead. I can't even. I can't even. Ain't nothing I can
You're
do.
like a Catholic schoolgirl's period. Late.
I'm gonna go ahead. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and accept. I can't even do. I can't do nothing about this. I'm gonna just take this L. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Eccentric because he put that little meme out there, like just lay there and just don't move. I'm gonna go ahead. He's like, just lay there and just don't move. It just won't hurt as much. So I'm gonna do
change
that.
the show to the BGKH Show with Dominion and Lauren Hill.
Okay. All right.
All right, that's enough for the moment. I'll let it slide for the next 15 minutes. But I do have a countdown timer because I've got plenty more. I'll be here all week.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
So how was your week though?
My week was interesting, to say the least. I'm glad I got through it. And we had a really interesting time at work. They gave us a gift, and they sent us a now, which I don't really understand, but
herpes.
So
you said a gift.
Would you say?
I said herpes.
No,
no,
thank you.
Not that kind of gift.
But so my job, because my what I do is is training for federal government employees.
Mm-hmm.
We've been struggling because of the administration. We're coming up to the end of the year as far as the fiscal year is concerned. Like, so money's just tight all over. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, since we've been in this pandemic, this parabola, this panini, all this stuff, it's had an effect on our training. And so we have been cut down with our hours. So instead of 40 hours a week, it's been 32 hours a week. Now, it was cut before, and it was down to 24 hours at one particular point. So I'm not complaining, and I still got a job. I got benefits.
Right. And so they're like, why are you complaining, bitch? We gave you a raise.
But I wasn't over damn raise. But what they did give us as employee appreciation day or week, or whatever that was, they gave us all $100 gift cards to Amazon. Which is exactly my sentiment when I saw this, and I was appreciative. Now, let me be clear. It politely went right into my Amazon gift card, and it politely paid for a couple.
Of course.
And
you didn't return it. I mean, come on now.
Absolutely not. But, I was able to use that thing for some groceries and a couple other things. But still, I was just kind of like, is this what we're doing now? Is this what we're doing now? We're trying to just placate and satiate this little feeling with $100 gift card. Is that what we're doing? But I'm grateful. I have it, or I had it. It's gone. It's been you put to good use. But other than that, the week has been good. So I really can't complain too much.
Yeah.
So, how was your week?
Well, I just want to say I hate it when companies give you that little bullshit gift. Those piss me off more than if you had just given me nothing.
And so, as a little footnote, we have another all hands staff meeting that's going to be next Wednesday.
Here we go with the bullshit.
So, and the last time we had these all hands staff meetings, the meeting wasn't that bad. It's after the meeting, after everybody gets off the call, then they sent out this email, the one that politely told us that we were going down to 3 days a week.
Right.
So now I'm like, bitch, what is this? Y'all don't try to grease us, like gas us up with this $100 gift certificate. How does it? I'm waiting to see what this is going to be. But anyway, but that was my week. How was your week?
So here's the thing for me, though. The government hasn't closed.
The government has not closed. But different administrations have a priority on training, and training is not necessarily a requirement. It's a luxury, if you will. And so
I feel like that's going to change, though.
It actually, and that's what we're looking for. But the problem is we've already been in this administration for the past 4 years, and it's like, bitch, it's caught up to us. Like, bitch, we struggling here. So that's the hope. And even with our training, with one of the trainings that we need to do, they did this whole they had to take the language of diversity out of training, and we had to reframe it something. We had to call it the art.
I hope y'all saved that document because new president already put that shit back in. You're like, all you do was take that document down and put the other one up because we knew that wasn't gonna last.
We knew it, and so but still, I'll give us credit for renaming that course and calling it the art of the pivot. I said, okay, y'all better go ahead on and do this. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it. So, but we shall see. And then when the new budget comes in for the fiscal year, we'll know exactly what we're working with. So yeah, it's been interesting though. But again, enough about me. Please, what about your week?
I mean, my week has been uneventful. I mean, most of my days are just like like the night before I go to bed. After I do my 2 hours of the TikToks. The last thing I do is check my phone and see what time my first meeting is. If the first meeting is at 9, that means when my alarm goes off at 10 minutes after 8, I will get up around 8:30 and actually, take my meds, brush my teeth, and then schlep downstairs. If the first meeting isn't until 11, then it's no rush.
Right.
I'm not even going to be bothered. And then today I was a little mad because I got up, got my ass all the way downstairs, and I'm like, all right, it's 5 minutes of 9. I mean, and I'm looking, I was like, this meeting has been canceled. So between sometime last night and sometime this morning, my morning freed up. So I didn't have a meeting until 1 o'clock. So I politely took my ass back upstairs, took my clothes off, and got my ass right back in the bed. So
you give them a full wardrobe. You don't give them just a t-shirt?
Hell no.
Okay.
So I found, the gray onesie that I have that's made out of the jersey material.
Yeah.
The same company makes furry onesies. So it's not like a furry character, but it's like a furry material on the inside and the outside. So that's allowed me to keep the heat off or lower than it was before. So I wear that. I mean, by like day 4, I'm like, woo. So then I wash that girl. But yeah, I wear the same shit every day. Like today we had training. That was the meeting at 1 o'clock, and people were turning on their cameras to show their faces. I was like,
listen, I've gotten a little bit more lax with my boss, and I've kind of jumped on a meet when I have a meeting not with participants and it's just us. Like I'll have on a t-shirt and it's not a collared shirt, and I'm just kind of like, all right, girl, like you go up and run to the bathroom, or I'm like, Gary, go take my shower or whatever, and she's like, okay, yeah. Then I just stopped lying. I was like, okay, girl, hey, good morning, how are you? What's going on? T-shirt and all. Hey,
I mean, I don't ever wear anything other than a onesie. I have 5 onesies. So every day I'm wearing one of those onesies. And then when it comes summertime, I already got a short sleeve onesie to wear.
I thought
and
it was
then I'm about to buy another 2 or 3. I was like, I don't even see the need to put on real clothes. I'm like, I'm literally just sitting there by myself, and I fucking love it.
yeah.
These bitches talking about, oh, I can't wait to go back to the office. I wish I was, I was chat. You got your little friends in the office. We were having our own little separate chat. Chat. I was like, I will fuck somebody up if they say you got to go back to the office because I am perfectly fine. Because again, that same 9 o'clock meeting, if I had to go into the office for that 9 o'clock meeting, that means I would have had to get up like 6:30, 6:45 to get dressed, to fight traffic, to get to the very center of downtown. Because Pepco is right there by Gallery Place. So you fighting to get to the very center of downtown. And then on top of it, the way our stuff, I mean, my main job is, it's they call it project manager, but it's really project analyst shit. So, it's taking meeting notes and, doing database stuff, but that's a little bit sporadic. So if I was actually in the office, if I have a meeting from 9 to 10 and then another one from 11 to 12 and then not another one until 3, in those empty times, if we was in the office, I would have to sit at my desk and pretend to do shit. Like today, when I don't have nothing to do, I was like, oh yeah, because BBC America plays back to back to back episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've seen every episode like 6 times at this point. So, but if I had to be in the office, I'd have to like make work or find some other bullshit to do. So I am totally fine with working from home for the foreseeable future.
Mm. Thick Southern accent. Down what town? Okay.
It's all good. Listen, I lived in Tallahassee, Florida for 7 years. And once I pick up an accent, it takes a while for it to go. And plus, DC and
It's South.
Maryland, it ain't listen, that one summer I spent in Minnesota, child, you would have thought I was Rhode Island when I came back.
Oh, you from Minnesota.
Exactly. It wasn't quite like that, but there were definitely some inflections there that had my fraternity brothers looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, yes and no. Oh.
Right. Would you like some flirt? But yeah, so everything is cool. I am prepping for my trip to Mexico. The only thing that I'm still gagged about is this flight on Spirit Airlines. Luckily, it's only an hour because I think I may have mentioned, we would have talked about this last week, but the show never happened last week, so we didn't get a chance to talk about that. But so when you book these all-inclusive vacations, at least we use Vacation Express. Hey, and that includes the flight. So the best the least expensive flights were out of Fort Lauderdale because it's only an hour from Fort Lauderdale to Cancun. And I was like, well, bitch, I got all of these miles and free credits on Southwest from when we didn't take trips last year. So yeah. I am not paying for my flight I paid for it last year from DC to Fort Lauderdale, and then I got a ton of hotel points. So the only thing I'm spending to fly into Fort Lauderdale a day early is the $75 it is costing me to rent a car.
Okay. I'm still not a fan of Spirit though. Like
I flown it once and I was like, okay, girl. So y'all got me this one time. Y'all got me.
Yeah.
Because you was looking at like United Airlines, it was like $340. And he was like, oh, Spirit is only like $195. And then you was like, okay, do you want to sit on the plane or do you want to stand? Because if you want to stand, it's free. But if you want to sit, that'll be $50. Now, would you like to bring some luggage on the plane? Okay, right. Another $25. And by the time you finish with all of the fees, you might as well have just paid for the United ticket.
And they got me on Spirit when you had to pay for you're allowed you're allowed one bag on one. You can check one bag, but you can bring one carry on. But you
can. But if the bag that goes under your seat is free.
They got me for the carry-on because they were
Right. And then they will get you because
Yeah.
the girls try to be slick and try to slide their carry-on in the top because they give you a tag for your carry-on. And if you don't have that purple tag, whatever the fuck color your tag is supposed to be, they will make you take that thing down and they will charge you to check that girl right there.
They charged me, and I was so pissed off because I'd heard so many bad things about it. I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for this shit ahead of time. I didn't want to be bothered. And it was an early morning flight, and you know how I am early in the morning. Like, don't fucking piss me off early in the morning because we just not gonna do this. So I went and spent this money, and I got to the check-in counter, and the woman was like, "Oh, you didn't have to pay for that." And I was like, "Were you gonna give my money back?" She was like, we'll go ahead and get that paperwork started." If you've seen that money, I'm wearing the 29 waist now. Because I ain't seen it since then. And it's okay because it was $40, and I'm annoyed by it because I felt like I was just spending money just for nothing. But I was like, okay, whatever. But I want a very easy flight. Hey, Lola.
Hey, Lola. No, you're not that late. No, you're not late. Last week, Epic was late.
Lola, we're going to allow this line of questioning for this week because I'm going to take the L. Yes, I was late. Yes, I was. But I'm going to go and check in with you. Lola, I hope you're feeling well because you posted something that you weren't feeling very well after you posted it on Facebook. And I want to say it was after you got the shot. But anyway, congratulations on this new spot as well.
Yeah, she moved.
Yeah. So, yay, glad you're back. Excuse me, where's our other BGKH diva? I don't see Tyra Nicole in here anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see her either. We'll give her a moment. Otherwise, she gets clowned next week too. So
okay. I see Lynn, I see Eccentric, I see Cardinal, I see CJ, I even saw Coyote. I see a lot of our regulars. So I'm happy that y'all are here. Thank y'all for coming out.
Yes.
We appreciate y'all.
All right, well, we got a lot to get into. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Coming to America, WandaVision, Oprah Winfrey?
Take your pick. So can I just if we start with Coming to America, let me just say this.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just jump into it.
I appreciated Coming to America too because it was very nostalgic.
It was.
Do I think it could have not been made, or do I think that if it had not have been made, I would have felt like I missed something, or was it even necessary to make the movie? It was not necessary to make the movie. It was okay because it wasn't bad, but if it was never made, I would have felt no way about it.
Yeah, it was. There were a number of things that were a little cringy. The first being, first of all, spoiler alert. I mean, but this ain't like that movie. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Coming to America 2, then, it's like, so like the whole premise of it, when they said, oh, well, Akeem had a son and he hooked up with
Don't do it, Eccentric. But you know what? I'm gonna allow this week. Come on through.
Yes, Eccentric. That's my boy. Yes. But so the whole premise that Akeem has a son in America, and I was like, when did he have time to do that? Because wasn't he and Simi together the whole time? And then so you get it, and then so.
But that brings about one of the articles we was going to talk about the whole how it happened.
Yeah, that's in. People often don't think of it as rape when it's a man, because they're like, well, what man don't want some pussy? So how can you rape a heterosexual man? How can a woman rape a heterosexual man unless she sticks her finger in his butt or whatever without permission, whatever? But if those roles had been reversed and it had been, someone who had smoked Lisa up and had then had sex with her, everyone would clearly see that that was rape. And just because we live in this patriarchal culture where, well, Akeem got some. And also the idea that Akeem was a virgin. I was like, come on now. You mean you ain't fucked none of them bathers?
They were cleaning the royal penis. They didn't have time to insert it.
They could have cleaned the royal penis with their vagina in their mouth.
But that doesn't mean but that also doesn't mean that his ass ain't bust a couple nuts every morning. I'm just saying, but
Right.
whatever.
And so,
Whatever.
okay, whatever. That was a little cringy. And then like the whole premise that in this modern so it was cringy and it didn't make sense that given who his wife was, because he didn't marry Imani. He didn't marry the chick that was hopping on one leg. He purposely sought after and married this woman who was an equal, and yet they continue to live in this country where women for 30 years. Lisa raised 3 daughters in a country where none of them not only couldn't be queen, but they couldn't even own a fucking business. You mean to tell me that this woman just like sold out everything that she was about just for some good dick? Because apparently the dick was good and it was big.
Well,
Remember when they had the fourth scene, and it was like, this is the your great great grandfather, and this is your grandfather, and then this is your father, and then Lisa and Leslie Jones's character looked at each other and was like, well. So I'm saying, so you gave up your whole identity and everything that you were about, for sex and to be queen. I mean, I get all of that. That's cool. But I feel like she clearly had enough power in the relationship that she could give him the cold shoulder that one night in bed and to put him all the way out of the royal bedroom. So she wasn't some shy and retiring thing. So that whole thing didn't make sense. Also, Next Doria is the laziest, dumbest name I have ever. I mean, it was funny, and so like this, I've read someone who said that the whole movie kind of felt like an extended Saturday Night Live sketch, which would have been funny as like a series of Saturday Night Live sketches, but as a movie, I was like, okay, you're taking the joke and going too far with it.
Mm.
So, what else did I have to say? Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I just my whole thing was it was unnecessary to even make the movie.
It
While
was certainly was.
I enjoyed the nostalgia, I just thought it was unnecessary. Sorry.
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't.
It just wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
The
I think
costumes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like in this day and time right now, it was a good positive thing,
Right.
and it was something that was like just needed funny, but it wasn't a neat
There
movie.
were a couple of times where I did sort of laugh out loud, and there were a few sort of interesting things. But like it was like, if you're going to go with this, I get that Akeem and Lisa fell in love, a little quickly, but you sort of saw their relationship develop.
Yeah,
But between the barber and whatever the son's name was, I was like, how the fuck can you be in love with this one? Because we've never seen you spend more than a few seconds of screen time with this woman, and then now all of a sudden she's the love of your life. At least with Akeem and Lisa, you saw them sort of doing things and spending time together. And other than that one scene outside of the palace where they talked about movies and shit, there was no development of that relationship. And I did like that the Duke brother that was played by Colin blah 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 from Saturday Night Live was the grandson of Mortimer Duke. Because remember,
Oh
in
yeah.
yeah, in Trading Places, Eddie Murphy's character bankrupted him, and then in Coming to America, he sort of threw away like several $100,000 to them when they were homeless and living on the street, which was how they came back. And then
Yeah.
that dude was their grandson who denied Prince, whatever the king, the new kid's name was, a place. But
Lavelle.
so Lavelle Johnson, yeah. So I thought that was I did like the funeral scene.
That was a little bit weird for me. And I mean, it's no different than any other movie where someone's acting and they played dead or they were killed or whatever. But I was kind of like, this is a little bit morbid for me. And maybe because I'm just being sensitive about James Earl Jones and, he's older and I just don't like, but then again, at the same time, if this is how you want to go out on your own terms, like, and you decide you want to film a possible way to go out or something like that, or, it's just part of the movie, that's fine. But I don't know. This is was a little off for me, but.
Right. And, it just, a lot of it just didn't make sense. It was like, it's like all stories are someone has an idea and you build stuff around it, but I just feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities. I did appreciate the nostalgia factor. I loved how when they went back to the barbershop and they were like, look, it's Mufasa. The barbershop was funny. The barbershop scene was funny.
Ebola!
Right. Blood Diamond and Ebola. Yeah. So that was all funny. Right. Of course, the scene with the pastor was funny. And of course, Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate was hilarious.
But wait, my name is Peaches.
Right. I was like, where the fuck do I know them from? And then I was like, okay, so they were the two of the women that was there was the two sets of twins. There was the crazy set of twins, and then there was the rapping set of twins, and that was the rapping set of twins.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't realize that they were actually a set of twins, that they weren't just like.
Listen, they were, and listen, my girl Teyana Taylor. Listen,
she earned it.
Listen, did you see Teyana Taylor in that white dress at the end with all this body and all this? I was like, come on, Tay-Tay.
Yes.
Listen, I love Teyana Taylor. I love her. Love her.
And Leslie Jones was funny. Sometimes she can be a bit much, but her muchness was exactly what was called for in this movie.
It was a lot. I also wish they would have gave Lunel a little bit more, because Lunel is fucking hilarious. And I wish they would have given her a little bit more, like something to be funny with. So, But like I said, all in all, I felt like it was okay. I just wonder what happened to the sister and why she didn't get called back, or why she wasn't in the movie.
Oh, Lisa's sister.
Yeah.
I also wanted to know what happened to Daryl, because I would imagine that that the sister got pregnant, and Daryl has not had a good life, and he's doing something, he's like mildly successful doing something, so I would have liked to see that, because they got the McDowells in Zamunda.
Can we talk about how old James Amos off? It's like he got old overnight. I get it. The man,
because he got to be in his mid-80s.
Yeah, the man is. He was an older man when we were younger, but it's like he just seemed like he got old just like that. Like, oh my god. Yeah. So I don't know, but
I guess Madge Sinclair is past.
Yes, she passed in, I want to say in the 80s or 90s, I think it is, but she did pass.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
but overall, it was a little trifle. It was a little confection. It was something to do. I didn't hate it, but I'm glad they released it on Amazon instead of in the theaters, because if I had gone to the movies to see it, I would have been quite annoyed that I had spent my coins on seeing this movie.
I'd have been mad, even though we spend it every month, but that's all right. It allowed me to stay home in the comforts of my home and also watch, this whole watching movies online allowed me to watch WandaVision, which was something.
WandaVision. So what were your thoughts on WandaVision?
Okay, so I've heard lots of stuff about WandaVision, and I thought that it was going to be. I just thought it was. I didn't know what I was thinking it was going to be. Then I kept hearing people talk about it and talk about specifically how slow it is for the first 2 episodes, and then as I got into it, I was like, "What in the name of the?" Because the first 2 or 3 episodes, I was just like, "Come on!" Like, and then it started to make sense, but they would give me like little breadcrumbs, and I was like, "All right, okay, all right." I don't want to spoil it for anybody, But when I got to the end, I was like, it was good when I finally got to the end, but I still don't know who the fuck Agatha is. Like, I'm not sure who she is. I don't know how she fits into the rest of the Marvel universe. I don't know how, like, that doesn't make,
I don't really read the comics and stuff, but in terms of where she fit in the show, she was a witch who wants to be more powerful. She stole,
I get that.
She learned all of that, and so she's like has this thirst for power. So through her witchy powers or whatever, she feels a disturbance in the force, for lack of a better word, and she was like, how did this bitch create this whole fucking world? This right. She was like, so like on the outside she was like, this bitch made a whole fucking town disappear, made a whole bunch of people disappear, and like, well, what the fuck is going on here? And so that made her want to get into that, because that represents the ultimate power for her. So that's what she wanted to do, was she wanted that ultimate power for herself. Because remember, like when they were back in the Salem witch trials, the reason they were trying to kill her was because she was meddling in dark forces. Because that's a theme in not only Star Wars but lots of other things. Is like, once you start going down to that dark path, it consumes you. Right. And what they didn't realize was that she had already gone down that path.
Mike was saying that she's a frenemy of Wanda's from the comic books or whatever. So I just, again, thank you for that, because I just wanted to know, what that was. And then they gave me the impression that Wanda didn't even know what the hell she was, because in witchcraft she's this, and it ties into the whole Scarlet Witch thing, which is what her Marvel title, I guess, is. As opposed to Wanda Maximoff, and then so it's like it tied it in a little bit, but I was just trying to figure out where she fit in at, and it was okay. I enjoyed it.
I really liked it. I mean, there were lots of levels to it. There was the sort of witchy sort of thing. It was also a conversation about grief. And how grief can fuck you up, and how like, because at the end, what's the black woman's name?
Monica Rambeau.
Monica was like, I can't even be mad at you, because if I had the opportunity to bring my mother back, yes, I would.
Yeah.
So I can't even be mad at you, because I sure as hell would. She didn't even blink when she said that. Monica's like, point blank, hell yeah, I would have brought my mother back. And hell yeah. So
hey, Lynx, she already, Wanda Maximoff has already had those powers, and then in the comic books, as you read it, she is the daughter of
a chaos magician,
Magneto.
In one version, but in another, she's the daughter of a chaos magician. And when she touched the Infinity Stone, when they were before Vision and all that, when they had her in the room, because remember, she went back with Agatha and she touched the Vision Stone, and that activated, because it was already sort of there, because that's how they survived that when the missile dropped, and Tony Stark's missile dropped on them when they were kids. That's how she survived that. So she had that sort of latent power, and she sort of blocked out how she did it, but it became active when she touched the Mind Stone when she was in captivity.
So yes, and and there's a blending of the comic books, with the movie, and then some things that have been changed, but there's some basic stuff that's who she is. And in the comic books, both her and her brother are the children of Magneto.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but then also I read that there was a connection somewhere between the Scarlet Witch and also what's his name, Dr. Strange.
Well, so the connection is that I think he's in line to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, which is going to bring him into conflict with her. So, and it's setting up, it's set, every Marvel movie is always setting up, the next
one of it.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, I didn't watch it from the very beginning. So by the time I got it, I already knew that the first couple of episodes were going to be a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
But then I stuck with it because I was expecting to what people. So I sort of got into it like around. It was episode 4 for everybody else, so I watched episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 like right in a row, and then I was sort of caught up with it.
I'm glad that I watched it when it's all over and went through all of them, because I'd have been mad. I'd have been like, I'm not watching this bullshit. I'm not watching this shit no more.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I was able.
Can I say that Vision was kind of sexy to me, though.
So have you seen those memes about how they
I've
made him
seen
black?
the memes, but even before I saw the memes, like that last episode with him and Wanda, I was like, when he had on the turtleneck and everything, I was like, Vision is kind of sexy because I'm already a sucker for a British accent. So it was already doing it for me. But I was just like, okay, Vision, I see it.
And Lynx, in the X-Men movies, there was a reference made to her when they showed the character, the fast guy. I can't think of what his X-Men name was right now. When he was sitting at home with a little girl in his lap, which is his little baby sister. That was the reference to who she is compared to Magneto. So there was a reference to that as well. But she's not Mystique's daughter. Mystique's daughter, or one of them, is actually Rogue. So that's a whole nother set of questions, a whole nother set of stuff. But anyway.
Well, these comics retcon things all the time. It was like he had his whole storyline, and then they go back and do something. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah,
so
and I know they're changing some stuff for television and for movies and everything else. So,
right.
But we're gonna go with it.
All right. So the other new thing that happened this week was, this interview with Harry and Meghan and Oprah. And listen, I'm not super invested in this, but I've been low key invested in it. I do remember very clearly where I was and what I was doing when I found out that Princess Diana died. Now I didn't have a fit. I just remember I was at home, I was cooking dinner, and I was like, she's dead?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, and my immediate thought was like, them bitches killed her. That was my immediate thought to that. And so here's my general thoughts on this is from Meghan's side, and I was like, okay, girl, there's naive, and then there is, girl, you don't marry you're not the wealthiest person in the world, but you have enough money and stardom already that you should have done some more research about this family before you got into it. And so part of me would have been like, I'd have been like, Harry, you are cute and everything, and the dick is good, but your family is crazy. And I don't need this foolishness in my life. And then I will say that Harry, the fucked up part about it is that Harry is standing up for his wife the way that his father should have stood up for Harry's mother.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that had he stood up, there may have been a different ending to that story called Princess Diana.
Right, because here's the thing. You could be like, listen, girl, I don't love you. I'm so glad we had these 2 kids. Now we need to divorce and figure out a way to move on with our lives. I mean, because that's the adult way to handle it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, listen, this isn't working. This just is not working. I'm going to go do my thing. You go do your thing. Because they can't have been the first royals to have been like, yeah, girl, we got to stay married because whatever. And then to have this whole fucking life on the side. But it's the way that he did her dirty and then didn't protect her. But then let's back to this interview. First of all, I just love the fact that Tyler Perry saved the Duchess of Sussex. And, I'm just like, okay. And then, this is what kills me about some white people. It's like, it's not racist. I was like, y'all went and, this whole institution is about tradition.
Are you talking about the interview with Piers, or because that's
no, I'm not even getting to him.
Okay.
this whole institution, the British monarchy, is all about tradition. But suddenly, now that you have this child who is at best 1/4 black,
At best, right.
at best 1/4 black, won't be given a royal title. And it's not even that. We already know they was because Megan kept talking about threat assessments. I can guarantee you that the reason that threat assessment was increased is because just imagine all of the vile and racist things, the mail that they must have received, the email, the voicemail, talk about I'm gonna kill Harry, I'm gonna kill his nigger bride, and I'm gonna kill that nigger child too. Just imagine. Look at Megan. Megan could be, I mean, bitch, if you didn't if someone didn't tell you Megan was black, you'd be like, oh, look at that beautiful Spanish woman. Or that beautiful, and I don't mean Spanish like Hispanic, I mean like European Spanish or Italian, you know. So the fact that they were fixated on this little baby's skin color tells you they looked at baby Archie and saw me or you.
Exactly. That's exactly what they saw. And the really fucked up thing is they were so concerned about the complexion of this baby. Listen, the queen's husband, he looks
It's a whole skeleton.
He looks like a stage of Dracula. Let's just call it, because that's what he looks like. Now I get it. He's 90 something years old. I absolutely get it. But
my great aunt is 92 years old, and she's bent over a little bit, but I mean her whole face ain't sunk in.
And this motherfucker's grandmother right here, who's still on this planet, she looks damn good. But that man who's the king, the queen's husband, I should say, and some of them cousins, I'm like, is that a like? Yeah, it's like, what is wrong with you?
All these harsh teeth and ruddy complexions. Are you talking about? You worried about this? But yeah, so it wasn't about the royal title per se. It was the security that went along with it. Because here's the thing: what they wanted him to do was go along with the okie doke with no security. So that means because nothing upsets white people like black people or even people that they perceive to be black doing something that they can't do. So, it's poor ass white people in Britain that still think that they better than Meghan because they're white, and they can't get over the fact that Harry, there is some white woman who is literally butthurt because Harry married this black American woman than her. It's like, girl, you're not a royal. Two, there's no way that he would even have met you. I mean, y'all don't even run in the same circles. So they wanted Harry and Meghan to go out and still, wave to people and shit and do all of this, but without security. So any racist person you can see it in this country, racists do all kinds of shit. They bomb churches, they do all kinds of shit. So it doesn't take a leap of imagination to think that someone would try to stab Meghan or, once they send their kid off to the little school, even if it's a school with other little rich kids and it was Harry and a bunch of other little rich kids, someone comes and tries to blow up the school and do some other shit because they don't give him no protection. No, girl, fuck that. But I loved what Harry said. He was like, we did this because all that money my mother left me. So
listen, while we're on this train of thought about the British and the monarchy and over the pond, Cadbury had they came under fire for this same-sex kiss as well.
And I haven't seen that commercial. It must have been on the Super Bowl or something. I don't really watch a lot of broadcast TV or even cable.
So I didn't even see it until I actually looked at the article itself. But I found this article in the New York Post about it. And again, it talks about the way the whole commercial set up. They were saying how it's celebrating the iconic Cadbury cream egg, which, by the way, I think I've only had like maybe 3 or 4 in my life. I think they're okay.
Cadbury cream eggs are disgusting.
They're kind of okay, but it's just the idea of like all this like and this look. For me, no, it's a. But
you've had worse things in your mouth.
We didn't discount that. We did not discount that. But all I'm going to say is this cream egg golden jubilee it showed that there was a gay couple or a same-sex couple rather, that were bit into the opposite sides of this egg and pulled it apart, and they were able to eat their egg that way. And they showed various people sharing eggs in different ways. Well, apparently people were upset about it. And here's the thing that I do like about this whole controversy. Cadbury was saying that they wanted to. Cadbury was saying that it's not sexually explicit content, and that they are not trying to hide anything from anybody. And there are people out there, and they want to support LGBT rights. They said that they've always been progressive, and it's a brand that spreads a message of inclusion, whether it's through its products or brand campaigns. And they said that they are proud of their Golden Googly advertisement, which celebrates the many ways.
Why are you saying googly?
Because the goo that comes out of it.
Oh, okay. I was like, ooh, girl, Duquesne.
So they're saying they're proud of their googly and celebrates the many ways people can enjoy Cadbury egg, and to illustrate this and showcase the joy in that our products bring. And what they basically said was, they said,
suck it.
Basically, that's really what they said. They're not changing anything. They're proud of their commercial, and that's what it is. So I'm gonna give Cadbury a thumbs up for this. So we're gonna see how far they're gonna ride this out. But again, I'm here for it, and I'm glad that they are actually, showing all the different ways and all the different types of people that can enjoy this egg several different ways.
But now it's time for a rant.
Here we go. Hey, bougie girl.
Here is my rant. White people think that white liberals think that we live in a diverse society because we see lots of interracial couples on TV. They say, oh, look, well, I mean, we're diverse, we let you fags, we let you two fags, a white fag and a black fag get on TV, and now we're diverse. That's not diversity. I mean, yes, it is diversity.
It's diversity. Yeah.
However,
there's a difference between diversity and inclusion.
Right, because it's not being inclusive, because here's why. It's not true diversity if it's only through the white male gaze, because when you see heterosexual interracial couples, you usually see a black woman with a white man, when the statistics will tell you that most black-white interracial couples are black men with white women, but that makes white people uncomfortable. The reason it's a problem is because most people marry others of their own ethnicity. So yes, it is good that we are seeing interracial couples, but I'd prefer to see more black couples together, more Latin couples together, more Asian couples together. And diversity in interracial relationships is not just black-white. So that's my rant.
Well, speaking of black folks and their place in the world and even in other industries, I caught up with an article about Deborah Wilson as well. Remember her?
I saw that, and I was pissed when I saw this.
Listen, if you've ever watched Mad TV and you've seen Deborah Wilson, who was one of the absolute stars of that show,
yes,
baby, there is not one person that could do anything Whitney Houston related on that show better than Deborah.
There was so many other characters. I mean, she was like an all-purpose character. She was like the Kenan Thompson of Mad TV.
Yes. What was the other character she played? Her name was like Benifa Latifa.
Yeah.
She was amazing. Well, they caught up with her, and they said that she revealed she quit the show because some of her peers who had joined the cast after she did was being paid much higher than she was. Like, there was a significant difference in how much she was being paid compared to a new people. She even said she tried to go back and renegotiate her contract to allow for more money, and they were just like, we just can't do it. And she was like, well, wait a minute, you're devaluing what I'm bringing to the table. She then even went back to them and said, well, listen, if you can't match my salary or increase my salary because I've been here for so long and I've been doing, some of these people coming in after me are making more money, can I at least get a raise? They were like, it's not really in the budget. At that point, Deborah was like, I'm out. And so they, just like Oprah did during the interview, she's like, well, who said that? They were like, well, Deborah, who was it? She was like, it's not really important who it was, but I know that I was being devalued. And so I had to walk away from what I had going on. And so I was like, okay.
It is very much that. And, you know, it is definitely about knowing your worth. But
Mhm.
it's also incumbent upon those of us who are in positions who have some power or authority to help those help people out. I remember this woman that I worked with a couple of years ago, and she basically got thrown on. Well, you don't really work in the private contracting world like I did, but you know, when you get a contract, sometimes they throw people on there so because they need bodies to fill. So she was the admin, but they put her on the proposal because they needed to have someone to fill the body space as, you know, the junior project manager. Well, she started doing that work, and it became a thing where she could no longer do the admin stuff. And so I was like, so listen, Kim, you didn't hear this from me, but this is the minimum, the bare minimum that you should be asking for. Because, you know, they would love to slot you into this junior position that pays a minimum of $90,000 and keep on paying you that $55,000 that they're paying you as an admin, you know. And she's like, well, they offered me 75. I was like, girl, 90, because I'm going to support you because I can't do this job without you.
Right.
So if you were to say, oh, I'm leaving, I would go to the owner directly and be like, no, we need to do this. And we've already, and that's the thing. They budgeted for it. They budgeted for a person that was 90. They was going to pocket the difference between the 75 and the 90 because she thought she was getting a come up. Because if you're making 55, they offer you 75. You think you're getting a
Yeah.
$20,000
It's
raise, but you
yeah.
should have been getting a $45,000 raise.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, you know, so I look at whatever little power I had in that situation and I used it to pay it forward. And I think that we should all try to do that in the ways that we can. Another thing that I learned from the Million Man March.
Good. Um, there. Well, this whole issue with her. I mean, she was not hurting for anything. She's done several things as far
Yeah,
as
she's got it going on.
you know, she's been good.
I would have loved to see like a one woman show of hers. I mean, she's great at doing these comic characters.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see that as well. Like, and who knows what may happen for her in the future? I don't know. Maybe she will come back and do that. So who knows? But that was Fox Studios, and so we will figure that out.
We know how that goes. We saw how they did the fucking creators of the show. We saw how they did the weigh-ins.
Well, you know, then there's a whole nother story.
Right.
Wait, the weigh-ins were created for Mad TV or were they for the In Living Color?
Oh, well, it was a different show, but same network.
Okay, yeah. All right, okay. But speaking of voiceovers and stuff, Jeffrey Wright becomes the first Black Batman actor. He's set to start as Jim Gordon in the new Robertson in the Robert Pattinson film. The Batman actor is famous for his James Bond movies, Westworld, and everything else. But the audio adventures is coming soon from HBO Max, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, the podcast will be a comedic take on the property that sees Jeffrey Wright lending his voice as the Caped Crusader. So I'm looking forward to that. HBO Max, I feel like HBO Max is setting their tone in this at-home digital world, and they are
because they actually have movies that people want to see. So listen, I will give up all of my other shit, but I'm not giving up HBO Max because, you know, in hindsight, Wonder Woman, you know, I'll still probably catch it again since it's on there. And bitch, let me tell you where I'm gonna be on March 18th. Nobody better call me. Nobody better bother me because on March the 18th, I will be there for the Snyder Cut. And I will be there on the 30th of March for Godzilla versus King Kong.
So hold on. I'm curious about the Snyder Cut. March 30th. That first of all, that's my anniversary. So I'm just happy anniversary. It'll be happy anniversary for me, and it'll be 30 years that I've been in a part of Kappa. which is amazing. But I just, that's a whole nother story. But Godzilla versus King, bitch, listen. Normally, because the last Godzilla thing we went to, no, that was Kong, was it? Did we go see Godzilla? I think we did. Did we see Godzilla together?
I can't remember, but it was one of those.
Yeah, one of those. But we probably would have been, because bitch, nothing was funnier than you and I in that fucking movie theater. We went to see Kong, bitch, and that fucking
right. So yeah, so I'm out of all of the services that I pay for, I'm definitely getting my money's worth from HBO Max.
Yeah,
And they have another season of Legendary coming up soon.
Yes, and they also have the next season of Teen Titans. Have you got into that Teen Titans?
I got into it. No, I got it. I was watching Young Justice, not Teen Titans.
Get into Teen Titans, baby, because I was like, what? This is interesting because now this next season, Starfire's sister is coming, and this is gonna be old nasty battle, honey. It's gonna be old nasty battle, and I'm excited about it, honey. Excited.
All right, I'm gonna check it. Yeah, that would be fun to have like a watch party for Godzilla versus King Kong. Because I think it's on HBO. I know you can do it on Disney Plus, but I think you can do it on HBO too, where you can do like a group watch party.
Oh, and speaking of other new things, so listen, I did not get to mention this last week, but I'll mention this now. So for all of the Janetics, I just want to let you all know that Janet has a 2-part documentary that's set to air on A&E and also Lifetime. It is going to
turn your volume up.
It is going to coincide with the 40th anniversary of her 1982 album. It's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be 4 nights. Right now, it's just called Janet. But she's going to talk about a lot of different things. She's going to talk about motherhood. She's going to talk about her relationships. She's also going to mention or talk about the Super Bowl incident because, Justin Timberlake has just been in the news because of his whole thing about Britney, where there were very unflattering things being said about him in this documentary about Britney Spears. And of course, he's tried to do his Captain Save a Ho, Captain Save Himself, Captain promote his next movie type of thing by apologizing to Britney and also to Janet. So apparently Janet because she hasn't talked about it, but apparently she is going to be talking about some specific stuff. So I will be tuning in to see what she says about this. And I have a feeling that she's probably not going to say much because I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I'm sure she has several thoughts on this whole thing, but she's going to keep on her public persona and she might crack a little bit. But I would really like to see her go in, but it's just not going to happen. But then again, she's been in the game for, 40 plus years. And I mean, come on, like, why not open up your mouth at this particular point? So who knows? We'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. But it's not set to air until 2022. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll keep it let you guys know it's coming out. It's going to be there. So
it's something that is. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what else we got. I was actually disappointed, and because I don't keep up. I mean, I keep up with some politics, but I knew that a couple of women had claimed Governor Cuomo sexually harassed them. But so far it's up to 3. But even before these 3, that had been like a pattern that he had, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before he's forced to resign. Which would be I don't want to say unfortunate. I mean, because unfortunate. I don't live in New York, so I can only tell you what I see from the outside. Because if you don't live in DC, you think Muriel Bowser's a good mayor. So
I'm saying unfortunately because I feel like he's doing a great job in the state.
Except for this whole lying about how many people died of COVID in nursing homes.
Well, I'm not even,
Well, wait a minute. Look, it's the birthday boy.
Is it? Really?
Yes. Happy birthday, Special K.
Quit your playing. Come on, Kay. You came in just to get your birthday shout, boo? You came to get your free cake?
Right.
Happy birthday, boo.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm disappointed in his behavior.
Tyra, come come through. She said, I covered this man and his pronounced nipples. Yes.
That's the brother. That's Andrew Cuomo, well, that's the governor's Andrew Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is the one with the sexy nipples.
All right.
So
And there
there's
it is.
that.
We had to
But
go ahead.
it's interesting. I don't really know that there's a whole lot to say about that. But today one of our brothers reposted something about Pepe Le Pew,
Yeah.
and on one hand, people want to dismiss it and say it's just a cartoon, but I do remember as a little kid thinking it was like, what? She's clearly not. I mean, it's something about it. It just made me feel a little weird.
It was
That
creepy.
it was kind of creepy, and I just really had a language to describe it, as a little kid. But I was like, she clearly doesn't want this attention, but you keep doing that, and it's like, yeah, it's a cartoon on one hand, but it's also a subversive way of playing into rape culture and saying so you look at people like Mario Cuomo or Andrew Cuomo and all of these other men where women have said, well, they didn't take no for an answer. And, yeah, it's only a cartoon, but the cartoon that played into that culture of, a woman isn't allowed to say no. And if you keep on pushing, eventually she'll say yes, or just take whatever it is that you want. So anyway,
Listen, I
go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say my condolences to Pepe's family, or rest in peace to Pepe, but
He'll be all right.
unfortunately, he's been canceled, unfortunately. So
Right.
that's just where we are. But I'm sorry, you were gonna say something?
No, I was going to say, speaking of, rape culture, I really was not on top of this about T.I. and Tiny, allegations that they drugged, assaulted, and kidnapped several women. I had not heard anything about this.
But now the problem is there's like 11 more people that are popping. Because at first I didn't want to believe this. I was like, that don't even sound like that. That's not what I know. But that doesn't sound like. But listen, right now these allegations of assault against T.I. and Tiny, they came out on social media. They've escalated into detailed accusations about rape, drug, kidnap several women, and it goes as far back as 2005 up to 2018.
And it's up to 30 women.
Yeah, like this is a lot, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say anymore about this. Like, I mean, I hope and I wish that it's not true. But I also say that if this is true and this was intentional, and this is where you are, then baby, I'm sorry. You
got to go.
Baby, I'm sorry. You just got to go. Like I can't unbuy your music, but you got to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what music. I don't have anything by T.I. I'm thinking only thing I don't know that I have any music by Escape, so I wouldn't have anything by either of them. But yeah, one woman, any one person can make up some shit.
Yeah,
but to get 30 whole women to make up some shit and do this conspiracy for what? I mean, T.I. and Tiny got money, but they ain't got they don't have Bill Cosby money. So if you were going to say, well, like these 30 women did it so that they could get some piece of whatever, yeah, but T.I. ain't even got that kind of money some residuals probably from Escape shit, but I mean, how often is that doing? And I mean, yeah, so it's really about believing women, but I'm also one. I don't believe nobody, blanket. I mean, I will give you the space to say that your allegations are true, but then you have to prove it in a court of law, because you can't literally just lob allegations at people with no proof.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish them the best of luck, so we'll figure that out. But
I don't wish them the best of luck, because they'll be all right. One way, either if they didn't do it, they'll be all right. If they did do it, I do not wish them the best of luck. So I will hope that the truth comes out.
Okay, we'll take that. I'll take that. Speaking of other famous rappers, Cardi B has
Come on, Cardi.
a doll now, and she said she's teamed up with a new minority women-owned company, doll company called Real Women Are, and it was to create a doll model after her. Now they show these little pictures of her, the doll. They kind of look like little Bratz dolls with this really big head, but I'm okay with that. But she said it's important for kids to see dolls that look like them because as growing up, she said she never saw a doll that looked like her. She said I've seen a doll she said when you go to the doll aisle, when you were my age at that time, there's a real white one and then there's a real dark one, and there's barely one that's in the middle. None of them have my style, none of them have my flavor, and it's like I want a doll that represents me. And she wanted to bring this doll to life for her daughter as well. So I get it. At first, I kind of took I kind of had a little pause. She said they're really dark, and I was like, wait a minute, baby. But then I understood where she was going with it. But I was like, all right, cool. I get it.
And also, it was funny to me because back when, this whole thing first started, when you and I were kids, they'd be like, yeah, we got black dolls. I was like, that is a white Barbie with black skin. That don't look, I mean,
it didn't look anything.
It didn't look anything. It literally, you would hold them up side by side, and the only thing different was the color of the plastic and
the hair.
Yeah.
And the hair.
And sometimes, the color of the hair, but sometimes it was even the same texture. And yes, I know plenty of black girls with, silky smooth hair, but yeah.
Well, anyway, there's a reservation on Real Women Are website, and they even though it opened up on the 5th, it was open for 72 hours, but the dolls are not going to be available for purchase until July. So we'll look out for that. Now, staying abreast of what's going on in this world about COVID. So did you hear about the wrong vaccine dosage that was being given out in Oakland?
I saw it, and I'm just like,
so here's the
how the fuck do you even do that? How does that even happen?
So here's the long and short of it. You're supposed, for every COVID shot that's given, it's supposed to be a 0.3 milliliters of the vaccine that should be given to people when they're getting a COVID shot. There was a surplus of needles that were distributed to a couple different sites. And this particular site in Oakland, before 2:00 on this one particular day, they serviced about 4,300 to about 6,000 people. And the syringes were designed, so they said, that you either had to push really hard or you had to to put the needle in again. But if you didn't do that, what happens is they wind up leaving 1/3 of the dosage in the actual syringe. So here you have people that are supposed to have 0.3 milliliters of this COVID vaccine, and they only have they have 1/3 less. They have 0.2 milliliters, and they're missing it. Not to mention that these people that have been vaccinated, are they really going to be vaccinated? Is it going to be effective? And there's a lot of debate from the CDC and from other medical doctors saying that the way the vaccine itself is set up is that 0.2 milliliters is enough to actually start it. And then that was only the first shot. So the second shot will actually still kick it into gear. But again, there hasn't been any studies done on this. There hasn't been any long-term surveys on it because this is all still brand new. We don't know. We don't know. And so they were talking about giving booster shots, but then there was also a conspiracy saying that some of the people at the Oakland Coliseum that were set up to give out this actual vaccination from that particular agency, some of the workers were saying that they were to push it underneath the rug and to not talk about it. They were still even using the syringes after they found out what was going on. And so, people wonder why people of color, specifically Black folks, are leery of those giving vaccinations or anything tied to the federal government or drugs or medicine, because you don't feel like you can trust them because you're not getting the whole story. Can you imagine your thoughts on going to get vaccinated and realizing that you didn't get the full dosage of what you should have gotten and you don't know if it's going to work or not? Can you imagine?
Right.
Ugh. Well, they said they fixed the problem, and they said that they've replaced the syringes as well, and they realize now how they work. So for those people that were still using them, because they were still using them for a couple of days afterwards, they were making sure that they pushed down really, really hard to leave this extra, to not leave this extra amount of vaccination in the syringe. But then they also went to the extreme, and instead of because it was shorting them by 1/3, they were putting 0.5 milliliters inside of the syringe and then pushing all that in, but they're still leaving some in the syringe. So it's like you have this all this wasted product just to ensure that people were getting it done correctly or getting the correct vaccination amount, but you have all this wasted product that you could have used for other people.
Well, and again, a lot of this is, shitty government bureaucracy. And it's like y'all didn't like test this shit.
And this
is like when you get all of the vaccines and you're like, all right, so let's do because clearly everybody who is coming to work it, they want to get vaccinated. So we're gonna do a couple of test shots. So you work out the bugs and the kinks in the system before you do it, before you had the first person. So there were opportunities to figure that shit out. So
all I know is, and then at the same time, they have this new pill now that's supposed to be the holy grail of the pandemic because it's a possible medication to treat the coronavirus positive patients, and it could be enough to turn the pandemic on its head. So apparently, this new medication supposedly stops the virus in its tracks. It is a pill that they were saying is very promising. Now, the numbers are actually only 182 patients that were studied during the testing so far. But again, they're saying it's supposed to be doing great things. They're predicting that by the summer, that this new drug called molnupiravir is going to be very helpful in managing and isolating these isolated cases. And so we'll just see how that goes, but just be on the lookout for it. We'll see how this goes, and we'll see what actually happens with this at all. And it's going to be a 5-day treatment plan. It's going to be similar to like Tamiflu. So those of you who have taken that, it'll be similar to that. So we'll see how that works, and we'll keep our eyes out for that and keep you guys updated with information about that as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to encourage you to get something so that, we can move forward with it. But, I also hope, the problem with humanity as a group is that we don't learn the lesson. Way back in 2005, whatever, there was some doctor that was on 60 Minutes. I think it was not Ebola, but maybe it was H1N. It was like bird flu or SARS or something. And they were like, girl, something bigger is coming along. Yeah. And we didn't do it. And so while I hope we get back to the point where I ain't got to worry about wearing a mask, when I go to the grocery store or whatever, that would be cute. I do want us to remember the lessons from this. And, I hope that hand washing and, things like that become more of the rule and not the exception.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
But so let's get into one of our favorite shows being Drag Race. And we said that we were going to start off the evening because we always start talking about Rue and some of his looks that he comes through. So listen, spoiler alert, those of you who haven't seen the last episode, and in fact, the week before, the week that I did not show up.
Yeah, but the week before there was nothing happening. That was the episode where they would talk about COVID. So
I was saying it was a COVID shot. But again, so these are the looks from just this past week. So just giving you a spoiler alert. We're going to talk about who won and everything else. But these are 4 Rue's looks for the evening. Now, this dress that when she came out on the main stage, I was like, okay, this is like McCall's pattern number 4829. And
it looks like one of those bags that you see people carrying like on the Greyhound bus.
Oh, you are so wrong for that.
But
I see it. I'm looking for the handles now. Are they on the shoulders? They tucked in? I can't.
Exactly.
But now the other look when he came
the Epstein, what is it? Epstein Klein, I think is the name of the
baby. All I kept thinking of was Good and Plenty. That's all I kept thinking about.
It does look like a Good and Plenty, but it fits beautifully.
Yeah, the fit has been great, especially since he's been covering his ankles. Thank God. because I don't see the need to not have your ankles covered and you 9 feet tall. I just don't see.
I also don't understand the idea. Maybe it's because my feet sweat or whatever. Is like the idea of wearing shoes without socks to me.
Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea.
Only shoes that I wear without socks is sandals.
Yeah, that's it. Flip flops. That's it.
Right.
So, but anyway, these were Rue's looks of the evening. Not very impressive to me as Rue, but as RuPaul, but as Rue coming into the workroom, I love the good and plenty look. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, it was cute.
So. All right, and the next one. So this week's episode, it was following the last episode where Candy Muse had to go up against Simone, and it was a lip sync for your life. And this was the lip sync that they wound up saving, that Simone won, and then Rue saved Candy Muse.
Yes.
Told her on the runway that she was saved, so they went back. Okay, great. So this episode is the first time that they are all performing now, and they had a mini challenge for this episode, which was the audition for the Pantyhose, which was a ode to Rue's punk rock band that he actually had when he was younger. And so he had the girls audition for the Pantyhose using pantyhose and stockings from this particular company, and these were all the looks. So you saw Got Mick, you see Simone. You also see Candy Muse, which I thought she looked a hot fucking mess. Oh, down here on the right with this blonde wig on it, she just looked a hot mess to me. It just wasn't.
I thought so too.
Then you get to see the rest of the girls in the next slide, and you see their look. You saw Denali, you see Rose, you also see Miss Utica, who I don't
know what's going on with her.
She's going through some sort of psychological change in her life, honey. That's what she's doing right now.
What's the matter, Pedro? Are you going through some sort of a psychological change in your life? Are you going back to being a man?
That's what she got going on. Because it is what it is. But then in this next slide, you get to see the rest of them as well. You got to see Olivia Lux. And you also got to see Elliot with 2 T's. Tina Burner, her outfit wasn't all that great, but her personality, it sold it. But it is what it is. And then she winds up winning the mini challenge for the audition for the Pantyhose. So she won $2,500 gift certificate.
Right.
So this episode is actually the Snatch Game episode. So she brings the girls together, and after they won, and she said, "This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a Snatch Game." So they had 2 guest judges that came back on. They had Raven, and they also had Victoria Parker, who everybody knows as Pork Chop. And so, listen, for those of you that don't know, Raven has been beating the hell out of RuPaul's face between Raven and Delta Work, and also I think Raja at one point was beating her face.
Yeah.
But Raven has been beating RuPaul's face into submission. And this bitch was painted for the gods, down to her clavicles and her forearms, where Raven was painted. She looked absolutely beautiful. And Pork Chop looked great as well. You may not even remember Pork Chop, but again, she was the first person to go home off of the first season ever. But Pork Chop is a performing ass. And when the bitch gets on stage, she is amazing. I've seen her firsthand. She's amazing. So I'll give them that. But so they went through some of their characters. Before they got into the Snatch Game, what they did was Rue went and met with each of them and gave them some advice / warnings about their characters and stuff that they should be doing. So she knew exactly who all of them were going to do. She knew that Candy was going to do Patrick Starr, Denali was going to do Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye, Utica was going to do Bob Ross, Got Mick was going to do Paris Hilton, Rose was going to do Mary Queen of Scots, Olivia was going to do Tabitha Brown, Simone was going to do Harriet Tubman, Elliot was going to do Rue McClanahan, and Tina Burner was going to do Richard Simmons. But once they got their meeting with him, they all decided to go through it. So in this picture, as well as the next couple of pictures, you'll get to see what they actually look like. So in this next slide, you get to see Simone as motherfucking Harriet Tubman, who her entrance was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, this could have gone really badly, but it worked out pretty. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, her entrance was really good. Olivia and this Tabitha Brown. That's probably
there was like on the runway, like Michelle said, there was a lot that she could have done with that character, but you can't just sit there and talk about vegetables. Or if that was going to be the running joke, yeah.
Yeah.
She's not lucky that other people were way worse than her.
Yeah. Got Mick did an amazing Paris Hilton. And it's so funny because Raven did Paris Hilton as well, and she didn't do so well when she was on
Right.
the show. But so the other characters, you get to see them as well. You get to see I'm sorry, Rosé's Mary Queen of Scots, which was actually pretty cool.
I mean, maybe she did fine, but was not as blown away with her performance as other people were.
She did okay. It wasn't, but that whole Scottish thing and the comedy for me was her saying stuff and you not understand what the hell she was saying. She's like, that was the comedy.
I mean, I guess it just
that was it. Tina Burner's Richard Simmons, which actually wasn't. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was okay. And Patrick Starr,
you had to do. I think Richard Simmons was a bad choice because other than his look, he's not known for anything that he says or does. So it needed to be more physical. She should have turned everything into like an exercise challenge and or something like that. So I was like,
yeah. I listen, and when Candy decided to do Patrick Starr, I was like, you're not Patrick Starr right now. You're just Candy with and look good right now. That's it. That's my opinion.
I have no idea who Patrick Starr is. So
Patrick Starr is his makeup. Child.
I understood who he was, and I saw the picture, but I was like, okay.
But I ain't with it. So
and then for some of these characters, I'm just like,
she's just Candy.
With a couple of things about this show, and I felt the same thing about some elements of Project Runway. So on Project Runway, that you're always going to, at least used to, because I don't watch it no more. I don't even know if it's still on. But you knew that there was always going to be like a quote unquote real woman challenge. So knowing how to, you can't come on the show and be like, oh, I don't know how to sew for a big woman. What? But you knew this was going to happen. This is like season 15 of Project Runway. Same with, tailoring a man's suit or doing something for yourself. I was like, but you're a man, so you don't know how to put clothes on yourself. And then so the same for drag queens. So everybody knows and everybody says that they're looking forward to the Snatch Game. I will say that these girls, this particular group of girls, could be forgiven because they had to develop a lot of this in the pandemic, so they didn't have a ton of people to bounce it off of. But that's not, I mean, all of these girls got not Instagram, all these girls got Facebook and Zoom or whatever, and they could have worn their costume and had someone make up some bullshit questions and done this. So like, I just don't get how some of them could be so bad, given that no one makes you do any particular character. So you're doing whatever the fuck character you want to do.
I don't know. I thought this group of girls was actually probably a strong group. Overall, as far as like many of them were good. There's a larger percentage of them that were good, except
well, that's true. But the ones that were bad were really bad.
Oh, they were. Excuse me, they were. And if you go over into this next slide, you get to see another couple of the bad girls. So you had Jonathan Van Ness being done by Denali. You also had Elliot with two T's doing Rue McClanahan. And listen,
and he looked beautiful. He looked not exactly, but he really did give a good Rue McClanahan face. But he shouldn't have, because Rue McClanahan as a person has no personality. She should have been like, I'm doing Blanche Devereaux.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing saying that the person that you're doing has to be a real person. She should have said, I'm doing Blanche Devereaux, because that's what she was trying to give, but she didn't give a good. She could have talked about Big Daddy, and she could have played up a Southern accent and done all kinds of shit. And I'm just like,
yeah. She just didn't.
Blanche literally was a little bit more than sex. I mean, she could have brought a cheesecake on stage. I mean, there was like all kinds of shit that she could have done.
Right.
She could have worn that red dress that looked cute in the front of the back. I mean, it's literally in the intro to the show, so everyone knows that.
Yes. Listen, and this Bob Ross,
it wasn't even funny. It wasn't funny.
Can we
at
just focus on
all.
the video?
And like when Rue was like, but white people have afros too. Bob Ross had a fucking afro. So like why it was unnecessary and it wasn't funny and it didn't even play in anything because
Richard
listen, I
Simmons
have
had
watched a ton of Bob Ross. Now, if he had like, oh, that's my little squirrel companion out there in the tree, because he would be like, yeah, I got to be careful when I thunk the the paintbrush because I don't want to get on the cameraman. But those squirrels had no connection to anything, and it just wasn't funny.
it was a loss for me. I just, and then listen, it was a loss. The highlights for me of this entire thing was the number one, the faces that the girls were making when they were watching Olivia and Elliot and Utica Bob.
Yes.
That was hilarious. This fucking squirrel wig was fucking hilarious. Simone mixing up Jennifer Lewis and Jennifer Lawrence and calling Rue a nosy ass bald headed
right.
Like I said, Utica.
Look, I was nervous with all these white people up in here.
Oh, she was funny, but she was really giving Jennifer Lewis as opposed to.
It really was, but it worked because most people have no concept of what Harriet Tubman sounded like.
Right. So, but I mean, it worked though. It worked. It worked. But so anyway, so in this next slide, this is what I want to point out. Okay, so I'm a little anal, and T.S. Madison was one of the judges for this, the guest judges. I liked this look on T.S. Madison. I thought she looked absolutely soft like butter.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you, on this left side of this picture here, this little piece of white hair that didn't get dyed, it is driving me crazy. Crazy. Driving me crazy. Anyway, let's go on to the next picture. So the main stage look, the fascinating fascinators. This is, and if none of you know, this is right up Dominion's alley because bitch, he is a fascinator, bitch, because he loves a motherfucking fascinator.
All right. Rose, that is a fascinator.
Yes, and I actually, like Michelle Visage said, that this was all good. She got it right tonight.
Yes. Utica, that is a fascinator.
I like the look.
Olivia Lux, that is not a fascinator. First of all, in my opinion, if it does not sit at a jaunty angle, it is not a fascinator. If it just sits straight on your head, it's a hat or a crown.
Okay.
Or a headdress. But it's not a fascinator if it doesn't sit off to one side. I mean, yes, not that what Olivia had on wasn't nice, but it's not a fascinator.
Yeah, I liked her look though. I thought it was cute.
Not fascinated by it.
It was a cute look though.
It was cute.
Yeah. So let's on the next slide, we get to see our girl.
I love you. And Gottmik, I like you, but neither of these are fascinators.
Well, according to what you just said, Simone,
I get it, but it's something about it. It doesn't. It's and a
also
fascinator has to have some drama to it. This doesn't have drama to me.
Well, here's what I will say. I love Gottmik's look. I like, bitch. I would rock this shit out of this on a like. I
would too, but it's not a fascinator.
I'm not even gonna argue with you.
It is not a fascinator.
So let's go.
I am fascinated by it, but it's not a fascinator. And I will say that Simone's dress was stunning, and I love the imagery of it.
Yes. When she had turned around with the gunshots on her back and it says "say their names," I thought that was great. I also
love the political statement that she's been making with her drag, and I just love that.
Yes. I'm also going to give credit where credit is due as well to Got Mick about the Swarovski crystal color covered blood drip on the end of the safety pin. That
Yes,
was flawless. I'm going to go ahead and give her
it
that.
was a beautiful headdress,
Yeah.
but it was not a fascinator.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to the next one, and we get to see Tina Burner's look. We also get to see Denali's.
No,
We get to see Elliot with 2 T's.
beautiful, but not a fascinator.
And we also get to see Candy Muse.
Hell no.
So let me tell you how I like Tina Burner's look because I like the purse,
Yes,
but I didn't like her the fascinator. Not so much.
it was trying to give me Ornacia, but she didn't take it far enough.
No, she didn't. Elliot with 2 T's. First of all, I just couldn't even
That's
fucking.
just a little beanie on the side of her head. That's not a fascinator.
Yeah, I just couldn't even fucking understand what the fuck was going on with Elliot with 2 T's. I just didn't like this outfit at all.
I did not care for everything from the neck down. I like the hat, but it was a hat and not a fascinator. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about that one because from this angle, it doesn't give you fascinator. But when she's looking straight on, it was actually like a feather piece that was just on the side of her head. So
Right.
that gave me fascinator. I don't know what Candy Muse was giving here.
It's not giving what it
it's supposed to have gave.
gave.
I wasted my money.
So from this, you get to now see on the next slide, you get to see who wound up in the bottom 2. And that was Elliot versus Utica, because both of their performances were hot mess and hot garbage. And Elliot, I'm sorry, not Elliot, Utica had the nerve to talk about Olivia Lux's performance and thinking that she was one of the would be in the bottom.
Here's the thing: if I ever get on that show, now let's just be clear. If Rue asks me who should go home, I'm never going to say myself, and I wouldn't be mad if anybody says me because it's a competition. Of course, only what the fuck is the point of getting on the show to say, I should be the one to go home. I'm not gonna pull no shit like what's my girl did. Now she wore a fascinator, the Asian girl.
You're
All Stars.
I hate a bald-headed drag queen, but we're gonna go ahead and leave it to
all
that's
right. On Gina, yes. But if we're in the backstage and they get to talking about who you think should go home, I'm like, I'm not concerned about none of that. Unless I think I might be the one to go home, I'm not going to point the fingers at nobody and say your performance was terrible. You got to deal with that because too many times, the bitch to say that is the bitch that end up right here. So just keep your mouth shut.
And that's exactly what the hell happened because motherfucking Utica got her ass up on that motherfucking stage and went up against fucking Elliot. And to be quite honest, during this performance, for me, it just felt like Elliot just gave
up. Yes.
And while Utica was doing a great job with what she did, I just felt like Elliot gave up. And so in this next slide, you now see.
Well, can we just go for 1 second on Elliot's look? Because like Michelle, I didn't get it until it was like, oh, it was supposed to be nude on that side. I was like, well, then why just be nude? Just have a fucking bodysuit. Give a good flojo. Give a bodysuit with one leg out and one arm out and just be done. That extra fabric
it threw me off.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what I didn't mention before, the winner of the Snatch game was Got Mick. She did an incredible Paris Hilton. So I if I did not say that, I'm sorry I didn't say that before.
Yes, but she really did. In the beginning when she was like, oh, hey, Rue, what's going on? And then, know, I'll be ready to go as soon as the camera comes on. And Rue's like, the camera's on now. Oh, my God. I did that. Hi. I thought that was so funny and set the tone for as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, all these other bitches going to have to step their game up.
Yeah, yeah. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But and the next slide we get to see now that Utica went home, took it home for the win. And again, I feel like it was very much because Elliot just gave up. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. And the other thing is too, I'm hating some of the selection of like the songs that Ruth
Yeah,
picked.
some of these songs just aren't
It's like,
high energy.
yeah, like I
They,
just
a drag queen usually chooses a song for one or two reasons. They either want to give a high energy performance
or
or a dramatic performance. Because when you think of dramatic performances, you think of Latrice Royale in Natural Woman, and when you think of high energy performance, you think of Dita Von Ritz doing This Will Be.
baby. That's what
But you can't just pull some old basic ass middle of the road song out and I mean, there's just nothing to the song just to get all excited about.
it wasn't all that great for me. So, but again, but here we are. We're going into the next week, and Utica's here, and maybe it'll light a fire underneath her ass, and I don't know. Maybe she'll get a personality or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I have a prediction that Got Mick is going to be in the one of the top four.
Definitely.
I also think that well, I'm hoping that Simone stays in the top four.
Me too.
But I also think that Tina Burner
Mm-hmm.
and possibly Olivia are people that might be in the top four as well.
I think Utica and Candy Muse are not going to make it. Although I feel like for some they're going to find some old bullshit to keep Candy around, for drama and whatever.
We shall see. We shall see.
I mean, I keep pointing out the fact that, fucking Silky Nutmeg Ganache made it to the top four when if you go back and look at that season, that bitch should have been eliminated around like episode 4.
She stayed in that safe zone.
She should have been eliminated for that roach costume.
Oh, bitch. Let's not even talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
Let's.
Because it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
It was horrible. Anywho, so anything that we missed this week?
No.
I did want to touch base on Piers Morgan, and how all them girls got him together. The doctor, the black woman doctor got him together. That sexy light-skinned dude. Did you see that picture that Carla Stillwell posted of him? The black guy, he's mixed too, so he felt this connection to Megan because as a black British person of mixed ancestry, he's dealt with all of that subtle, racist dog whistle shit. But showed a picture of him with his shirt off, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I didn't guess that one. I gotta check.
Check it out. He is beautiful. But he read him for filth, and then Piers couldn't stand it for 30 seconds, and then apparently the tea was that. So here's what happened. In the beginning, they were friendly, like in the way that you have like a friendship with somebody on Facebook or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be clear. Piers wanted to hit. She was like, I don't have no reason to come to, and Megan either knew or did know that he wanted to hit, but she wasn't particularly pressed about it. But her girlfriend set her up on a blind date. Well, I think she knew she was going to meet Harry, so I don't think it was a blind date per se. Or was it? At any rate, she was arranging to be in Europe to be at an event where she would meet Harry and had time to kill. So she went and met Piers for a drink. In her mind, it was never anything more than just a drink. Piers thought he was blowing up her phone and all this other shit. But that was it was a blind date because that was the night that she met Harry. So
now you butthurt Piers.
That's ginger prince versus a man who almost certainly smells like cigarettes.
Now, that is not to offend anybody out there that does smoke cigarettes.
That's true because Lynx used to smoke cigarettes, but he never smelled like a man who smoked cigarettes. And
No.
you know exactly the smell I'm talking about. Them old dirty brown yellow teeth and that funky garbage breath that just hits you in the face. But then, and they like to say lots of sounds with H's and heavy. Hey, how are you? I hope all is well with you. And you just sitting there like,
you're like, yeah, hold on. That's it. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay,
exactly. So, and so this is just it's rape culture all over again because he couldn't, on a subconscious level, stomach the fact that this woman wouldn't want him and can't even just let it go because, like, some of the attacks that he had against her were just so personal, and you would be like, why does he have such vitriol for this woman that he never knows? And then now we know it's not that he didn't know her. It was like, you are mad because you wanted to fuck her and she never gave you the time of day because she went on and met a fucking prince. It was like, come on, man. That's not even in your same league. Now I could see if it was like William, because I mean, William was cute till he was about 22.
Ooh.
And then that baldness set in and he ain't understand. It's like, girl, just shave it off. Just shave it off.
Let it go.
Just shave it all off. Just shave it all off. You could have been a sexy bald Jewel Brenner looking some gun, but no, you trying to hold on to that shit.
Listen,
and yeah, so
I stand in the mirror myself sometimes. I'm sitting there thinking like, am I gonna do this ball thing now, or how we're gonna hold on to this, or what? Like, I gotta.
Oh, girl, you got a full head of hair. Get the fuck on now.
I don't know about this, but we thinning out in some areas, but we'll figure it out as time goes on. So, but listen, it just is what it is. You're gonna make some decisions. You either gonna be with it or without it.
Right.
And if you're gonna be with it, you're gonna do what you gotta do to take care of it. And if you're gonna be without it, you're gonna do what you gotta do to take care of that scalp afterwards. But so we shall see. So
right.
But in any event, I really want to say thank you all for tuning in this evening. But as we always do before we go, we actually have a chance to roll that beautiful that beautiful bean footage. And then we will be right back afterwards.
We need some music to go behind this.
That's okay. One thing that we did forget to say, we just got word not too long ago that the last season of Pose is going to start in May.
Yes.
So I'm mad, but I'm happy.
It's an abbreviated season too.
Yeah, and it's going to be abbreviated season, and then the last episode is going to be the 2 episodes. The last night is going to be 2 episodes in that last show. Yeah. So it's coming in May. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they're able to wrap it up, but they're filming, and actually they should be done filming at this particular point and doing all the editing. Yeah. But it should be May, so we will get to see exactly what happens to Miss Blanca, the House of Evangelista. We'll get to see what happens to Mother Electra. We'll get to see what happens to Angel and all of them.
I would really like to see the last episode end with, where they are now, because, there are a lot of people who were HIV positive in the 90s and thought they weren't going to make it, who are still with us today. Right. So it's not a fantasy world to say that someone like Blanca is in that show, she's 25, 30 or so. She's like 20. So she's like our age. So she would be late 40s, early 50s. So it's not inconceivable that she would still be alive. Yeah. Now. And I would love to see Electra's ass, because Electra feels like Electra is a little older. So Electra would be like in her 60s now. And I would love to see an old fierce ass 60-year-old Electra still giving the girls hell.
And hopefully maybe they'll do that. I don't know. Maybe they'll do something like that. We shall see. We shall definitely see.
Yeah.
So, but again, we say it all the time. You guys can spend your Wednesday evenings anywhere else. We definitely appreciate you guys spending it with us. Yeah.
What's the
Make
point
sure
of wearing a shirt with a saying if you can't see it?
what does it say? I see. I know.
I know my rights is what it says.
All right. Keep that in mind, everybody. Also, make sure that you guys, if you tuned into the show, that you've not only subscribed, but you've also clicked the notification so that you'll know when our show pops up. You know, we pop up
Yeah,
every Wednesday evening.
it's right down here, in there, in the corner.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's over in this corner. Yeah.
Yes, there'll be a subscribe button, and then there's also a bell icon to get notifications. So what that means, every time we post content, which is typically when we go live, like there's people that I follow, but then there's people I also get notifications from, and on my phone it'll pop up and say so and so is live.
And also Friday, we will be on a panel with Really Be TV on YouTube.
Yes.
It's I don't know if you guys have subscribed to her show, but we'll try to post a link out there on the BGKH page when we do go live, so you can probably see. But we will be live on another show with Really Be TV, and we'll be sitting on a panel to probably talk about Drag Race. And so be on the lookout for us and tune in and see what we have to add to that particular panel.
Ooh, Eccentric is really trying it today.
Do you have the notification click? I'm going to allow that's your last one, Eccentric. I'm allowed because this episode's about to go off. That's your last one for this week, doll baby. And by the way, I did like these high fashion photos that you took with the ropes in the pants. I thought they was hot. I
see him giving looks.
I was here for it.
And if you guys have things that you would like for us to talk about or whatever, feel free to hit us up on Facebook. Our Facebook page is the BGKH Show. Just type at the BGKH Show and our page will come up. We got fancy and did all of that, and so you can send us messages through there, or you can message me or Epic directly. You can also follow both of us on the Twitters and the Instagrams, and soon to be on the TikToks, because we got ideas.
Yeah, we have several ideas, so yeah, we got to get those things popping. So
one of the first ones we got to do. What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. With the two dogs.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Watch it, like the two dogs, they're like at a distance, or it's like two people or two animals, whatever. It's like, what's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Well, fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Well, fuck you, Ezekiel. Well, fuck you. And then they start talking about each other's mothers. It's a whole TikTok thing. Well, all right. So we do want to thank you all for coming out. We know that you could spend your time anywhere on a Wednesday evening, and we thank you so much for spending it with us. And we look forward to seeing you each and every week. So until next week, we will. Oh, so let me see. Are we going to have a show on the 24th? Because we probably we'll need to take a break on
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a show on the 17th, and then we'll do a post-birthday recap on the 31st, because the 24th I'm gonna be in Fort Lauderdale and I'm gonna be busy.
Right. So okay. So
guess what? There's a holiday for every day of the year, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you Google it, March 26th is Make Up Your Own Holiday Day.
Quit your playing.
I'm dead serious. March 26th is Make Your Own Holiday Day. So March 26th is going to be Dominion Day, and you celebrate Dominion Day by sending Dominion nudes and sending money to him via Cash App.
I cannot with you. Come on and close the show out.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night.